Hi everyone, my name is Ditesh and today we are going to discuss how to combine data using append and merge queries in Power BI. We're going to discuss the following topics. What is append query? What is merge query? With an example. To briefly explain about these two queries, an append query allows the users to create a new query with all the rows from the first query followed by all the rows from the second query. Whereas merge query allows the users to create a new query which contains all columns from primary table and only selected column from the secondary table. But remember, with one column serving as a relationship between the two tables. So this is how the merge query works. I know it's a little tricky with the help of a definition. However, let's get into PBX file and with an example, let's try to understand these two topics. Before we load the data into the model, let's have a quick look into the data which we'll be using in this example. I have the details of 3 teams working for an organization along with the bonus and hike received. So in the first sheet, you can see the details of data engineering team along with tenure and cost to company. In the second sheet, we have the details of visualization team. And finally, in the third sheet, we have the details of machine learning team. And if I go to the last sheet, I have the details of the employee name ID along with the annual bonus and annual hike received. So using this data set, we will be using the append and merge queries. So now let's quickly jump into PBX file and load this data. As a first step, let's load the data into the model. So we need all these 4 tables. Click on load. It will take a while. Data has been loaded to the model. As you can see here, we have all the required tables. So now let's open the query editor window. Click on transform data. Here is the query editor window. And as a first step, we need to combine the data from these 3 tables: data engineering, machine learning, and visualization. Once we append these data or combine these data, later on, we will be adding the employee annual bonus using the merge query. So what I'm going to do is select one of the table, that is, I'll select data engineering table, and then I will click on append queries. So you will see a drop down option. So you have an option to append queries or append queries as new. In this example, I'll be using append queries as new. Select this option. So it'll open up a new window. So since I have 3 tables which I need to append, so I'll select 3 or more tables here. And then the first table being data engineering. So I will bring in the machine learning and I will also add visualization table. Click on add and hit OK. So now as you can see here, we were able to combine these 3 tables into a single table. So let me rename this table as employee details. And since we already loaded the data into this table, what I'll do is I'll go back to this table and then uncheck this one, enable load. So I'll uncheck this one. It says disabling load will remove the table from the report and any visuals that use its column will be broken. So click on continue because we don't use it in any of our report or we haven't even created visuals in this demo. So I'll click on continue. I'll do the same thing with this second table, machine learning, click on continue. And again with the third one, enable load, disable the enable load. So as a next step, what we are going to do is add or merge employee annual bonus with the employee details. So I will click on employee details and then go back to the ribbon here and then select merge queries. So I'll click on merge queries as new because I want to create a new table. And then as you can see, this is the table which we already created, that is employee details. So I want to merge employee details with the fact employee annual bonus. So I'll select fact employee annual bonus. And then if you remember initially we discussed in the definition, right? There should be a unique column that can help us to create a relationship between these two tables. So I will use employee ID from the employee details table. And then here, I will select the employee ID again and then click on OK. So we have the final table ready. So I'll rename this table and then select final. And then I will disable this and check this enable load. When I click on the final table, I should be able to see all the columns from the employee details table and also a new column that was added when we merged the queries. So if you notice here, there is an arrow mark here. Just click on this and it will open a window here. And you have an option to either expand or aggregate. So here I'm going to select expand. So I don't need all the columns from this table because we already have the employee name and employee ID coming from employee details table. So I will uncheck this employee name and employee ID and then click on. I don't need the use original column name as prefix. So I'll uncheck this as well and then click on OK. And now if you notice here, the new two columns has been merged with the final table. So now if I go back to the employee details table here, I don't want this table to be loaded into the report. So I'm going to uncheck this enable load and then click on close and apply. Now if we go to the module here, we should be able to see only one table, that is final table, and we can check the data in the data tab. So this is how we can use append and merge queries in Power BI. I hope this video was helpful, and if you have any questions or doubts, please drop me a note in the comment section.